Happy New Year! Well, 2025 is here, and if you're in crypto, I'm sure that you're asking yourself the question of what are exactly the best projects to hold for this year. And I feel that the Cardano ecosystem is an ecosystem with huge potential right now because you had a lot of projects launching during the bear market, projects building some incredible things. And now with the bull market, with more attention, we do have huge potential, I think. So in this video, what we're going to do is to dive deeper into some Cardano projects that we believe have huge potential for 2025. Stick around. So Cardano looks like is going to have a bright future, at least judging by the teams and the projects, which are indeed extremely promising, I would say. And it's also not just about the teams, but the whole context around Cardano. We just had the Trump election in the US. We have a new president, a pro-crypto president, and we've seen the US-based cryptocurrencies or the cryptocurrencies more associated with the US, such as Algorand, XRP, Cardano, really benefiting from this new narrative. And from being involved eventually in the government and in things that can happen with the US government. So that's going to be definitely an exciting time, especially with having a lot of US investors that have a lot of money being able to come back and to invest in projects without being afraid of repercussions or of being persecuted in any way by the government, which I think is super important. And the reality is that if we notice, we had the Bitcoin halving, we had Bitcoin going to new all-time highs, but we really didn't see, as yet at least, we didn't saw any altcoin season, I would say. We saw actually just a few altcoins increasing a little bit, but nothing compared to other years where you really saw some real great increases in altcoins and some crazy price run-ups that we are not seeing right now. And I think that is probably still happening in 2025. Even if you don't agree, you gotta admit that there's at least a good chance that it might happen, because of course we have a lot of uncertainty right now in terms of the economy, in terms of wars, and that of course can affect the markets and will affect our cryptocurrency market as well, and an eventual altcoin season. But it's very likely that we are still going to have one. And another thing that is more specific to Cardano itself is that you have a lot of projects that have built their initial technology, they have done some launches at a smaller scale, and now they are working to move to other chains. They are working to partner with firms from the real world and industries and really drive adoption to their products, besides wanting to take their products to the next level. So many of those projects are reaching a stage where they can start thinking about adoption and about getting that adoption. And if they succeed with their efforts, well, they can have right now a huge success, especially if we have a bull run and if we have an altcoin season. But that's enough of introductions, and let's go right into the project. And the first project, as we can see here, is World Mobile, a project focused on connecting the world. This is a DePIN project, decentralized physical infrastructure, and what they do is to provide a decentralized mobile network for people and decentralized access to internet all over the world as well, with really cool innovations such as their air nodes that you can plug in the area, and you can provide Wi-Fi in the area, and you can be rewarded by that, by putting that decentralized physical infrastructure in your area. And as people use it, you will get rewarded for the internet they're spending and just the communications they are doing through the networks, which is super exciting and super interesting, I think, especially because this allows to connect a lot of people in the world who don't have right now good access in their areas. All they need to do is to put one of these air nodes or a few of these air nodes, and they open up connection for themselves, but also for anyone around them. Definitely a use case with a lot of impact when you consider, as you see here, that there are 3 billion of people unconnected around the world, a lot of them in developing countries, and being part of it can really open a lot of opportunities, financial opportunities, but opportunities for these people that will get access to the internet to empower them, to create businesses, to learn, to do everything they need, and to simply make their lives better, which I think is very exciting. So World Mobile already has a product and has launched. It has launched in countries and areas such as the United States of America. It also has some in Zanzibar, where it all started, and then of course in Pakistan, where some community members saw the opportunity and pushed to have this technology there, which I think is pretty awesome. And if you take a look here as well to their Twitter, we can see a little bit of what they have done throughout this year, which was pretty amazing. You know, launching their plans and their prices lower when compared to other providers in the US, which I think is awesome. They've gotten some awards throughout the year. They've launched their air nodes for people to be able to use them in the US. They've reached some impressive metrics, as you can see here, with around 500,000 worldwide users, which is amazing. Especially when it's daily active users, incredible, I would say. They have launched travel eSIMs as well, which is super useful on a great business model. They've expanded to other chains such as Base, Ethereum, and BNB, being a multi-chain token right now, playing a big role in the USA. When we had the Hurricane Allen's devastation, they were there just connecting the disconnected with in place with a block hawk from Charles Hoskinson, and actually putting air nodes so that people could communicate with their families or communicate with anyone they needed, which is super useful, I think, and a great PR. Especially, very interesting and very good that they're expanding right now so strongly in the US, especially now with the new crypto regulation and the support of the new administration. They can stand to benefit a lot. They are doing something that creates real impact, and as people start seeing the impact of what they're doing, I believe they're going to have just simply more and more support, more users, more token holders, and this network can really increase and just grow now in this bull run, I would say. So definitely one of the tokens to hold. Then we have another project that I've mentioned many times and that has huge potential, that is Cornucopias, an MMORPG game that has some amazing game dynamics, I would say. You have your own avatar, your own bubble, you can construct your own house and your own things. But besides that, you have a whole game with an in-game economy, with a lot of activities you can do, such as racing, fishing, mining. So a lot of cool things and a lot of interesting ideas. The team is developing alongside with the community, is being extremely transparent, informing the community regularly, but also sharing the builds with the community, so you can get into the game already. Of course, this is still an alpha version, I believe, so very recent and very new, so it's not the final version of the game, and you can start already interacting, already giving feedback and contribute to what the team is building in terms of prioritizing what gamers actually like. And the game is getting better and better by each iteration. Is really fantastic. Now you have jetpacks, you have a bunch of new dynamics, and as these dynamics are being built and put into the game, it's really exciting to see how the community is growing and getting more excited, and also how they are expanding, I would say, in terms of other networks also paying attention to the game and joining, and YouTubers, gamers actually joining the game and using it. And of course, as they come closer to having something that's really good to launch, I believe the team will start doing even more marketing efforts with the game, pushing it to a broader audience. And this is a game with real quality, AAA quality, that could attract a lot of people into the economy. And it's also super interesting opportunity because, for example, you have a lot of things you can do with the tokens of the game. You can participate in the game itself and participate in the game economy, trade those tokens, and it will be beneficial to you. But there are also other things, like, for example, you can just help run a copy node where basically you're hosting versions of the game and making it easier for people to download, and it's like a decentralized node for downloading the game, and that's actually gets you rewards, which is super awesome. So they're really creating a whole economy with their token for the decentralization of every aspect of the game, and also an in-game economy for the game itself. So you can see here some images of the game, some of the things you can do, like racing. And the thing is, as the game keeps growing, as more people get excited about the game, as we have the in-game economy implemented, which is something that is not implemented yet, and as we have these nodes running. They are on test right now. They were already sold. People already acquire them. Full disclosure, I do own a node myself. And now they'll be able to get rewards through just running these nodes. It's going to be exciting for the price of the Copy token itself, I believe. And 2025 seems like a great year. To be honest with you, Copy is a little bit more suggestion to make, in the sense that it's not clear yet for me 100% if the year of Copy is going to be 2025 or 2026. But as far as things go, I believe the progress has been amazing, and if the team keeps going, there will be a tipping point when they start getting a lot of gamers for this game. Then we have Iagon, that provides decentralized cloud storage. So basically you can store any document in the cloud in a decentralized, safe way, and you know that is always going to be accessible. So similar to ILWeave or IPFS, but on Cardano, is really good. You know, they're really reaching a big and large community, I would say. As you can see here by their Twitter posts, they have a huge amount of storage, as we can see here, huge amount of IAG staked. They are in several countries with almost 600 storage nodes, which is a lot. They can host websites on their technology, and they are also working to host entire dApps on their technology, which I think is awesome. And as we get those things going, I think the demand for Iagon and for the storage is going to be even larger. Besides that, we have the team working hard to find partners in the real world to use this storage for services where they need to make sure that the data is not lost, where they need to make sure that the data is secure, and where they need to decentralize as well the data for safety purposes. So really excited to see that going, and I believe as more adoption Iagon is going to have, especially as more normal users, legacy users, and firms they are able to onboard, which is something they are starting right now, the price of the token is going to benefit a lot. And if we start seeing some big partnerships being signed by Iagon, you're going to see that reflect in the token as well. At least that's what I expect. Of course, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and you need to make your own choices of the projects you believe are worth supporting and the tokens you would like to hold yourself. In fact, another exciting thing for Iagon, as you can see here in the early review on Twitter, is that they are developing the compute solution as well for Iagon, and this is being tested in June, and it will open just another stream of income that's very closely associated to storage. Storage and compute are extremely closely associated, which is awesome. Besides having the Cyclone, their own special device that is much cheaper than buying a computer, and that is perfect to run a node on Iagon. And then we can see here already some partnerships, like a pilot with the Fortune 500 tech giant, this 3D printing IP with Worth Group. So really interesting to see what Iagon is doing out there, getting into enterprises. And this is just the beginning of some of the conversations they are having, which I think is very positive. Then for the fourth project that I believe is going to have huge success in 2025, we have FluidTokens. I think this is a project that I'm mentioning for the first time, which is awesome. Congratulations to the team. It was all their merit and the merit of the work they are doing. They are focused on DeFi on Cardano and Bitcoin, which I think is super exciting. In fact, that's one of the big narratives for Cardano, is this possibility of being a DeFi layer for Bitcoin, especially because both chains have the UTXO model, so it's very easy to connect them. And, you know, FluidTokens have been a pioneer here. They've built on Cardano a lot of DeFi solutions, such as peer-to-peer lending, renting NFTs, loaning NFTs. So a lot of things you can do here, also liquidity pools for lending. So you have a whole ecosystem here that FluidTokens was able to make, and now they are bridging that ecosystem into Bitcoin. They've actually have a DApp on Bitcoin. They are working on very interesting things on how to connect Bitcoin and Ethereum to Cardano, such in a way that you can use your Bitcoin wallet or your Ethereum wallet to do transactions on Cardano, to interact with the apps on Cardano. That's something they are working on, and that's really exciting. So I do believe that all that work they are doing in that space can really bring a lot of demand for Fluid tokens. And we can see people in Bitcoin, Ethereum coming into Fluid, using Fluid, acquiring also the token, and eventually that would really lead to a big appreciation of the token and of the project. So the angle they are taking is very interesting, and considering that Fluid seems to be a project with a lot of potential for 2025. And then the fifth and last project that I would recommend you is to hold ADA, I would say, because I don't know if you noticed, but all the projects we've mentioned are still very early stage. They have strong fundamentals. They seem to be building something for real, but that doesn't mean they are not mature yet. That's the reality. They have still a big risk that they might fail, and we need to consider that. And I think your portfolio shouldn't be just risk. Of course, with risk, you can have a lot of reward. All these projects are projects that could eventually give you a big reward if they succeed, but if there's a chance they might go to zero. So do you really want to have all your assets into these? Well, that's why I think you should definitely hold some ADA to diversify your portfolio, to have a secure asset that stands the test of time. ADA is a blockchain, a layer 1 that's running for 7 years, and if you believe that the ecosystem and the projects building here really have potential and can be adopted, then ADA itself is going to benefit. It also makes your life easier because you don't need to pick which of the apps are going to be the best ones on Cardano. You just need to believe that these one or two or three of these apps will have really a killer use case and bring a lot of transactions. Also, for ADA itself, I think it can benefit a lot from the Trump administration. Charles is working with the government to try to get into all this change of adopting crypto within the government. And if Cardano can get a position there or anything running on Cardano, that would be super exciting, I would say. And there have been definitely some rumors, but rumors are just that. And of course, then we have the whole Bitcoin integration with Bitcoin ORS, but also other companies like FluidTokens and even IAG themselves, who are working on solutions to really create a close relationship between Cardano and Bitcoin, for Cardano to become the DeFi layer of Bitcoin. And, that would be super excited, to be honest. That would be super exciting. And it makes a lot of sense just because of how these blockchains share the same accounting model, the UTXO model, and also how they share a lot of the same principles. So I would say these are the 5 top projects overall to hold, but this is unfair. There are some really other amazing projects that could be here and almost made it to that list. Projects such as NMaker, which just does almost all the NFTs on Cardano, but most importantly, they are working strongly on tokenization of real-world assets, and I think that has a huge potential, and they can really benefit from that. They are great at marketing and business development, so they can really position themselves also with companies to do their tokenization. And we have also Empower, which is doing a lot in Africa with loans to build houses there for people, and with exciting financial models, and they seem to have a lot of success, and they just had now a partnership with the Nairobi exchange, which is super interesting. You also have Stuff.io, which is tokenizing stuff, tokenizing a lot of things. They started with books, it was Book.io, and now they are moving to other things. We have, of course, as well, ASI, or the AGX token on Cardano from SingularityNet, that's now merging into ASI, which has huge potential from the AI narrative, from this merge of different companies that are now working together for this artificial superintelligence goal. But of course, they didn't get into this list this time just because I think the whole merge thing has really affected the liquidity of the token in many platforms, in many exchanges, and as such is a much more confusing bet, I would say. But other projects as well as Nuvola, which is doing DePIN, like they are participating in the PIN networks, such as Iagon, World Mobile, even the Cornucopias nodes, and basically setting up the infrastructure for people and distributing the the profits across their DAO. A lot of projects to research, and if you want to keep researching, another very cool project is Palmyra, which is tokenizing a lot of production around the world. And they started with tea, and they are now tokenizing so many more products, and you can learn all about them in this last video here.